So we'll do, normally we don't say we will do, because Feldenkrais method is in the present moment. So when you teach your classes, you eliminate things like, and now you're going to ... or now we're going to ... But occasionally, since there's no absolutes, I break the rules. But I'm also trying to give you a sense of what's Linklater and what's Feldenkrais and a little bit about my thinking. And she has a warm-up for the resonators. What are the resonators? I beg your pardon? This reminds me of where we started on the very first day with the sex workers, huh? Remember? It all comes back around, doesn't it? Yeah. You and Moshe, it's always about that, yeah. Yeah, okay. Test, no. No, the R word, the R, resonators. What are the resonators? Top of the head, you think? The head. The nose, the sinuses. The palate. The vocal cords. I don't know, maybe. Probably the sternum. I mean, anything that the sound bounces off of, but a lot of sound can bounce off of this, a lot of sound can bounce off the nose, top of the head. Okay. Chest. So she has warm-ups for the resonators, and we'll go into that. But I thought first we'd do it, again, we'll do the Feldenkrais first, and then we'll do the Linklaters. So Moshe has a lesson, and some of you may have done it before. I'm sure you have. It's called, I'm gonna make it so not desirable for him to let people know what he's done. You know, it's kind of like you go with the pattern, you keep saying, oh, and you've done that, you've done that, you've done that, until the person just goes, ugh, and they just kind of give it up, right? It's one strategy. All right. So at any rate, equalizing the nostrils, it's called. What? He does it a little bit in Amherst, but I think where he does it elsewhere more clearly. So you have done, if you've gone through Amherst, you've done it at least a little bit. So it's called equalizing the nostrils. Now, what's interesting, so that's, you were onto that, because you're sitting in the front row, it happens that you know what I'm going to be doing because I'm closer, and then can kind of, but the thing that I've been saying about Moshe, I said it a couple times, is leaving no stone unturned, right? So he wants to find out things like, which is your dominant nostril for sound making? And how many people have given that a lot of thought before today? When you were walking to school today, you thought, if only I knew, if only I could get some kind of clarity about my nose, I know things would be really different for me, right? You know, or the palate, which we'll also take a look at, you know, because I think he gave a big talk about, and I actually feel like if I would look at the right side, you see, if I just look at the right side of the room more, then I have the sound coming in the right side of my palate more. So I know it, I have a choice. But if I'm here, I have it more on the left side. But if I'm here, I have it on both sides. But just knowing those tendencies that we have, it's quite interesting. And he just looked into all that stuff because he had this kind of insatiable curiosity, didn't he? It was really, yeah. All right, so we'll start sitting, and then we'll go into, and then we'll do some lying and some sitting. This is one of the few lessons, maybe one out of 2 or 3 lessons where you actually make sound, where he had a lesson of making sound. So sitting like that, make the lowest Oh, no. First the experiment, first the control, or the A part of the experiment. We'll do it lying first. Lie on your back and count from 1 to however far you count on one breath. So the point is, without manipulation, without a big voice, just take it easy and see how far, with very soft voice, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, how far can you count on one breath? And do it. Oh, you know, my resonance is better on the left because my microphone is on the left. Let's see what that does. Oh, wow. That changes everything. Doesn't it, right side of the room? Okay. Now, so count, find out how far you count on one breath. And do it 2 or 3 times so that you see if the first time was a fluke or the first time really represents what you do. You're supposed to count out loud, people. If ever there was a time where I hear no voice coming out, this would be it. It doesn't have to be loud, but it's just talking softly. Let the breath replace. When you run out of breath, just let it replace. So we're just finding out how far we can count on one breath. So see if anything about the lesson changes that by the end. And then come up to sitting. And do the same thing a few times in sitting. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See if it's the same in sitting or different in sitting. That's one strategy. So she's counting as fast as she possibly can, so she gets higher. Now it's tricky. She's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just normal, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Normal conversation, because you don't talk that fast, do you? Is it about the same as when you were lying down, a little less, a little more, in the ballpark? All right, so remember that number. And then make sitting like this. And as I say, we go back and forth between sitting and lying. If in order to sit, you need to sit on a table, sit in a chair, sit with a roller under your bottom. If the discomfort of sitting is so strong that you can't pay attention to yourself, then help yourself. We can wait for you to make that adjustment. I mean, obviously, over the training, we hope the sitting will get easier, but now, all right. So now make the lowest sound that you can make with your mouth closed. And it's kind of compared to, do you have ships coming in and out of Port Melbourne? Do you have foghorns ever? Like in San Francisco, we have so much fog, you know, but or like those Tibetan guys go, but make the lowest sound you can make with your mouth closed. And we want to start working with this idea, which Linklater talks about a lot, which is You know, you let the sound out and you let the breath replace. So instead of trying to breathe in, if the exhalation is longer, the breath will come in. You know, we were born with that ability to breathe. So you don't have to try to get the air back in. Just let it. And when you stop, the air will come back in. Okay? So the lowest sound you can make. And feel with the mouth closed, where do you feel the vibrations? How low down? He doesn't ask that question, but since we're studying that today a little bit, where do you feel it? Now, do the same thing with the mouth open. So make the lowest sound that you can with the mouth open. Oh. Let the breath replace. Lowest sound you can with the mouth open. Where do you feel that vibration? What happens when the air comes in? And now, would it be possible, as you keep on doing that, would it be at all possible to detect if one nostril has more sound coming through than the other with the mouth open? It's easier with the mouth closed, but just have a look. Or if one side of the face has more vibration than the other. And then close the mouth and keep doing the low sound. And of course, with the mouth closed, it's much easier to feel the vibrations in the face, in the nose. So which of your nostrils is more open? I just remembered this lesson. It's good to have a. We'll get there. Lie on your back and rest. It's good to have a box of Kleenex because sometimes the sinuses start draining out. Do we have any Kleenex around? No, I didn't warn you. Okay. Usually you have Kleenex in the training for all the crying, but present company excluded, but I don't. Okay, just. So now lying on your back. Well, just rest a minute. Now, so lying on your back, do the same thing. First of all, with the mouth open, the lowest sound you can. Just feel the difference. You feel a difference in the right nostril or the left. And then close your mouth. And feel, if you feel a difference, between how much sound is coming out of each side of the nose. You're welcome to play with the kind of nostrils being in the foreground and other parts of your face, or inner spaces being in the background, abdomen or the space inside the mouth. You're not confined to putting all your attention in one place. And now close the one that you think is the, so to say, weaker nostril. So you close the one that doesn't have as much sound coming through, and keep on making the hum with the mouth closed and only through the nostril that's already more open a few times. And feel the vibration wherever you feel it. Feel the steadiness of the sound or the air. All the way even into your lips. And then do it a few times on the other nostril, the one that's not, so you close the, so to say, good nostril, and you have the sound coming out of the other nostril. And it's interesting, you can just hear in the room that the sound is diminished by like 50–60%, can't you? Well, we'll go back to it, but anyway. Yeah, so, but for you personally, how initially there's less sound, yeah? But if you keep on doing it little by little, in fact, blowing the sound out through that nostril or moving the sound through the nostril maybe is going to help it open. So you close one nostril with your fingers, you close the strong one, and you keep, don't contract your tongue or your jaw or your lips. Support the head if you need to. Good. And just rest a minute, a few seconds. Resting like that, pay attention to your breathing. And of course, how the air comes in and out through your nostrils as you breathe in and out. And then again, the sound through both nostrils. And if you can sense a difference now in terms of more sound coming through the one that was more closed. And then open the mouth and do it like that again, through both nostrils open. How's that? How are you sensing that? And now let that sound go and sit up again. And this time, highest sound you can make with the mouth open. Don't strain. Well, it's interesting when you go to make a high sound, what kind of parasitic stuff you do. See if you can keep the tongue soft. Don't, as we were saying, don't let the tongue pull back into the back of the mouth. You know what? It's fine. I mean, you're allowed to have fun now, today. Today is a day where before you were not allowed to have fun, no. But it's fine. They were laughing when Moshe was having them do all that stuff with their jaw yesterday, right? Now, it's interesting if you just, it's interesting if you, that's head tone, the highest sound you can make. The men are doing well, actually. I have to say something nice to the men now, really. They're doing quite well. It's easier for, of course, the men. Generally, the men can go lower easier and women higher. But so that, now do it again. Feel, if possible, the sound coming out both nostrils, but also think of staying down in your pelvis when the sound goes up, because you're doing pretty well with it, actually, but there's a lot of times if I think up, I go, oh, you know, so if I lift myself high enough, I'll get up there. So stay in your base of support and highest sound you can make. A few more times with the mouth open. All right. Now the same thing with some people are keeping their shoulders down, but their eyes are like, so. All right. Now, with the mouth closed and feeling the sound through the two nostrils. High, please. Try to keep the tongue out of it. You feel the tongue wants to pull up a little bit. Mosquitoes? Well, everybody's got their associations, don't they? Mosquitoes, vacuum cleaners, I don't know, whatever. Okay. Now close one nostril, close the weak nostril, and do the high sound just through one nostril, through your strong nostril. Start with what you're good at, right? With the mouth closed, yeah. It's easier to feel that. Oh, well, actually the group is doing well. It's the staff that can't control themselves now. But, you know, they're not very mature even after all this time. So, all right. Now switch over and do it through the weak nostril. Make the highest sound you can make. If that's easier, do that. Yeah. Few times, feel if taking all that high sound through the nose like that starts opening it. Is there any pockets of sanity in the room where I could stand? I'm looking for a sane place here. The Seaus feels sane to me. Oh, okay. No? All right. Now the highest sound you can make through with both nostrils open again. And feel there's more sound in the room. Don't strain, but just feel how the sound is coming out. Yeah, make it a little bit higher if you can, without straining. Think it up. Feel what's happening inside your mouth as you make the high sound. That the roof of the mouth can lift a little bit. That's more clear. Open the mouth and continue. Feel, you can hear the improvement, huh, on the sound. This much. And stop and lie on your back and rest. Not that you're tired now after all that. See, this high sound is a tonic, isn't it? Kind of wakes something up. I think Deutsch tells in his book this story I heard many, many years ago about the monks that were, there was a monastery and the monks were busy 19 hours a day or something with all the various practices, practical work, the chanting work, the prayer work. And then they sent this group around to, I don't know, take a look at modernizing, making the monasteries more efficient or messing with it in some way. And so they said, oh, you're not sleeping enough, and, you know, we'll take away the chanting so you can have more time to sleep at night. And they made these changes, and they came back 6 months later to see how it was going. And not only were the monks not better rested, but they were actually more tired. And then they came to realize that it was these chanting practices that were actually allowing them to not need so much sleep at night. Kind of really invigorating. So just feel how you feel from these high sounds. Now, just lying on your back now, alternate between the lowest sound you can make with your mouth open and then the highest sound you can make with your mouth open. So it's kind of tricky now to go from the really, really low to the really, really high with the mouth open. And it's as if when you make the low sound, the abdomen really gets big, and when you make that high sound, the mouth, space inside the mouth really gets big, isn't it? Feel how it influences the inner spaces, how you feel them. Really sensing the vibrations of sound. Do it with the mouth closed. And stop a moment. Just rest a moment. Listen to your breathing. Listen to how the air is passing throughout different places inside. Now, do the same thing with one nostril closed and the other open. Keep your good nostril open first. They might be catching up to each other by now. And then the other nostril. Alternate between the high and the low. You're allowed to go to sleep. And then when you feel that that's a little bit clearer with both open, yeah, we need the Kleenexes, I know. Then with the both open from the high to the low. And then again with the mouth open from high to low. Now listen, you can sense your own sound. Where do you feel it inside? In the bones. And also just allow all the sound in the room to come in. Just let it in. Okay, rest a minute, rest a little bit. You stopped to listen to me, so rest. Just take a moment to listen to your breathing. Where you feel the breath begins, how it passes, the rhythm of the in-breath or the out-breath. Is it becoming any more possible to allow that tiny little pause that takes place in between the breathing in and the breathing out, or the breathing out and the breathing in? It's just this tiny little stop in between the two. Now come up to sitting again. And this time we'll do some text. Now, in the original lesson, I think he used the example of, in the beginning, God created the world, or whatever he did. Sorry, can't quote it for you. In the beginning was the Word. That's the first sentence, I think. But anyway, something from the Bible is the way he gave it, but he was in Israel, and they all understood the Old Testament. And, you know, I don't give it that way anymore because people have actually been upset by it when I've taught it that way. So you pick your own text just because that's what you do. So you pick a text. My text is 4 you don't know this, 7 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent, something you have to memorize in school or whatever. You pick a text, but, all right, yeah, so first just say your text, whatever it is. Mary had a little lamb. I don't really care. It's just some words that you know. Just say it and listen to the sound coming out of your mouth. Has to be maybe longer than 6 words. Or repeat it. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. That's as much as I know. Okay. I'm not hearing any sound coming out. You're worried about your text or what? If you start saying words, it's too close to real life. See, if you just make sounds, you're safe. But when it goes into words, what happens? All right, now, so now, no, so cute. Oh, we make some sounds. Too cute. All right. Oh, God, you're gorgeous. Anyway. All right. Now you say your text with your lips closed, your teeth closed. And so really all you can do to be understood is find out how you're going to be understood. I won't tell you the answer to that. 7. Oh. Can't use your lips. Can't use your teeth. Try to be understood. Louder. You feel something coming out through the nostrils. All right. And then go ahead, say your text again with no limitations. See how easy talking can be when you can open your mouth and let it out. You had a really, wow, that was so interesting. You have. All right, and yeah, I'm going to be doing this today as you get louder. Even with the microphone, I won't be able to come in over you. So if I do that, that means, okay. That was really interesting. See, you open your mouth and it came out, and then something happened. You went like, wow, I can't make that much sound. And then you went, yo, and you, did you hear that in the room? It was really loud, and then people took it back. Swallowed it. Okay, so you can talk loud. It is a possibility. Now, this time you say it with the teeth closed, and you can use your tongue, which you already used a moment ago, and your lips, but your teeth are closed. Give that with your text. Four score and 7 years ago, our forefathers. Okay, now instead of just kind of doing it, a lot of tension and no awareness this time. Okay, so do it again, but with the intention of being understood. So you might have to go slower with a little less tension in the lips as they move. Because really, this is the articulators here that we're playing around with. Well, this is what the things we use to articulate. So the lips, the tongue, and the teeth. But so 407 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation. Okay? Go ahead. Be understood. Good. And stop. Yeah, you learned how to do this yesterday. Have you ever seen Margaret Mayo lift her top lip? She does it all the time. It's part of her. She has an amazing ability to lift the top lip. Okay, we hadn't heard from her for a while, so didn't want to forget about her. All right, now so let the sound cut. Now with no restriction, say your text. What are you doing differently? Try to have take a picture of an inner snapshot. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Lie on your back and rest. Now just lying like that with the mouth open, again, a few times do the high sound and the low sound. And stop. Come sit up. Now, there's one more. There's one more text that we didn't do yet, which is the lips close, but the teeth can move and the tongue can move. So come back to your text for a minute. Say that. Feel what you're doing in your lower abdomen as you do that. Is there any movement there? Okay, and then with the mouth open, say your text. Now, one more variation. So when you do the low sound, what vowel do you tend to choose? Everybody kind of spontaneously do the low sound. What is it? An ooh? Is it an ah? With the mouth closed, you kind of naturally pick a certain vowel, but you didn't when you stop and think about it, yeah? Kind of an ooh or an ah. Okay. And when you do the high sound, what do you pick? E. E. A lot of people pick E. Okay, so do the non-habitual. Do E for the low sound and ooh for the high sound. Ooh. What? Yeah, with the mouth closed. With the mouth closed, yeah. And then go back and switch it with the mouth closed again. So you do O for the low sound and E for the high. The other way. Good. Now come back to your counting in sitting first and then in lying down, and find out now how high you count on one breath without forcing. Let the breath replace whenever it wants to. Try 3 or 4 times in each position. Good. And come up to sitting when you're ready. With your new nostrils, stand up. Go just a couple of minutes back to your partner before we'll take another break, but just touch base with your partner a little bit. Listen to each other, talk about the day so far, and find out if anything's different than this morning. We'll do it again at the end of the day, but just find out how it's going.